Well, hello, Kenna. I am so excited to have you back on. You are one of my favorite guests. I might be biased.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back on. I love talking about this stuff.
I know it is so exciting and so cool. And I've been watching you, and I am just blown away by everything that's happening in your life right now and on social media. It's just really cool to sit back and watch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to be like Kenna
Oh,
Marie.
stop. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it every day.
Isn't that what we all do
Yeah.
as entrepreneurs? But
Yeah. But
before
thank you.
you're welcome. Before we dig into everything, can you just introduce yourself and exactly what you do?
Yes. So I'm Kenna. Most of my accounts, you'll see Kenna Marie, which is my middle name. I have a photography business, so I promote that a lot on social media, and I'm mainly a family motherhood photographer, I consider myself. So that's kind of my target audience, the people I market to. And I've been doing that for 8 years. So after so much time, I kind of just wanted more in my business. I knew that I knew a lot, and I knew that there were other photographers out there that were just starting or wanted to start. And so I actually had some local friends who were wanting to be photographers come and ask me questions. I had just a few people through social media DM me and ask me questions. So I was like, I think I could put information out there that could help other people. And I kept seeing all these posts online on social media about digital products. And so I bought this course and I learned how to create and sell a digital product. So I started doing that on my photography business page, and it was pretty successful, not like overly successful, but I sold a low ticket product and it made me a little over $500 in just a couple months. So I was like, okay, this works. And so the course that I bought was actually a course that you could resell to other people. It's what they call MRR. So then I decided after a few months of sitting on it, researching, to start an account for that course. And now I sell that course and some other low ticket items. And then I give away some free guides as well that teach you how to like monetize social media through your reels and stuff like that.
It's so cool to hear that whole journey, right? You started off as a photographer, which you're still a photographer,
Yeah.
and you started to learn how to market your business better. And you took some courses and you were nailing it. In
Yeah.
fact, I remember a year ago, you it appeared to be a year ago. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It looked as if you leveled up. You were like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to increase my prices. It's time to maybe and lose clients, not that you want to, but you were prepared to in order
Yeah.
to serve your ideal client, and your whole marketing strategy completely changed.
Yep.
And and then I look like a whole year later, right? Now we're at the end of 2024,
Hmm.
beginning of 2025, and it looks so different for you.
It looks so
So
different. And it was so scary to take that leap. I was so scared. I really thought I would lose a lot of people, but now like my bookings are consistent. So, I mean, they were always consistent, but they're consistent with like more of my target market, I guess you could say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of reels, and I'm
Yeah.
really curious what inspired you to focus on reels as part of your content strategy?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I was prepared for that. I think just seeing how much other successful entrepreneurs on social media created reels and they were finding success. I just kind of thought, well, maybe this is what I have to do too in order to get my content seen. And so I started creating a few reels for my photography business, and I think they were more so just geared towards my clients at first. I was just creating reels for like my portfolio of products, basically, so the pictures that I was taking, marketing purposes, to get more clients. It wasn't for my digital products, and I saw a decent amount of engagement with those reels. So then of course when I came out with my first digital product for my photography business, I just started creating reels around that product to get even more engagement and views on my page. And it ended up working. So then after you see that when it works, you kind of just go full force and you're like, well, I'm just going to keep doing this.
Right? Why
Yeah.
change it if it's working for you?
Yeah. Yep. And then once you do that and you learn a little bit more, you start to learn okay, now I'm creating reels, which is what I have to be doing. But then what keywords do I have to be putting in there? Where do I have to have my text on screen? Like, what do my captions have to look like? Like, and then it just goes deeper and deeper. So as you're creating, you're just learning and your reels are getting better and better. And yeah, it's a cycle.
Okay, you just touched on some really good questions that I'm going to ask you. But before I get into asking you about that whole strategy and how to format it and what those keywords look like, when your first video hit 200,000 and it was the first time you were experiencing that,
Yeah.
what did that feel like?
I was like, and this is so, we doubt ourselves when we take the leap to do something new, like raise my prices. We doubt ourselves
Yeah.
even when we take that first reel and post it. And even when I started getting all of those notifications, and don't get me wrong, like I wouldn't, that's not a viral reel. I think viral reels are like when it hits 1 million or more. So I
Yeah.
have not had a viral reel yet, which I would love, but 200,000 is still a lot of people when I have 2,600 followers. And I wasn't expecting it. So when I started getting those notifications, I was doubting myself again, even though it was happening right in front of my eyes. And I was like, me? They're commenting on my reel. They're sharing my reel. They're saving my reel. Like I had like over 20 saves. And I was like, what? Someone's going to come back. Someone likes this enough that they're going to come back. And so I was like, okay, this is really great. This must be resonating with people. And that just, sparked a new realm of creativity and motivation in me.
So it obviously I agree with you, right? Like it had to resonate with people in
Yeah.
some way in order for it to go viral. But let's be honest, right? We are all, as content creators, are always trying to create that reel, that carousel, that
Yes.
post, that story, something that resonates. And it's hard to get them to pay attention
Yeah.
because it's just so quick, right?
Yes.
So, but I know that you've implemented a few things
Mm-hmm.
to really boost those reels and to grow your audience, and not so much grow your audience because I don't think it's so much about the number of followers you have. It's more about like the revenue you're making, the impact you're making on people. I rather have 500 followers that are my ideal client
Yeah.
than 5,000 followers that are my ideal client. But that's
Yes. Or
my,
that are not your
my
ideal
belief.
client.
Exactly right. That
Yes.
is not my ideal client. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Hold on. We
so I
might have
don't
an
think the number matters, but you're creating content that resonates, and and
we
I'm
almost
laughing
had
because I can hear, yeah, I can hear the boys in the
the doorknob.
background, the doorknob, yeah, and if you're watching this on video, the mom look over like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, they might come back. I'm not sure.
That's okay. You know what? That's what being an entrepreneur, and you're doing this right
Yeah.
because you're a mom and
Yeah.
you're working. And why are you doing? Let me ask you. Like, why did you start creating these digital videos
Yeah. Why am I creating my reels or my
or the
digital products?
digital products? Yeah.
To create extra revenue and semi-passive income while I could spend more time with my family. I think that's, why most of us get into digital products or making money online, because it is so much of a semi-passive income thing. And I say semi-passive because it's you have to put in the work to like market yourself or market your product. So you're still putting in work, but it's the amount of work you put in to market that product on social media. If you were to compare it to like a 9 to 5 and the amount of time you like sit at a desk, it's like really not comparable. It's truly semi-passive. And that allows me to have an income coming in, whether it's big or small, whether it's, filling up my gas tank or paying my mortgage for the month. It allows me to make that income while I'm spending time with my family. And it just takes a little bit of weight and stress off my shoulders to not be so paycheck to paycheck. Not that I'm rolling in the dough, but I don't feel stressed living paycheck to paycheck anymore because I have this extra income.
Yeah, I love it. And that's so important to have that extra stream of revenue coming in that's, supplementing what you're making normally. So I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. So let's get back to these reels and when you're doing this, right? And I want to know exactly how you do it, like your strategy behind it, because creating reels takes a lot of time,
Yeah.
but you make it look so easy. So how do you find the time
I
to
know, that's
create
so
this?
funny. because I think that about other creators too. And it does take a lot of time. But I found that if I, one, take B roll whenever I can. So I've bought a tripod, which is a game changer because just to have your phone somewhere, you don't have to set it up, you don't have to hold it. You could just be hands free, put it on the tripod, press record, and do what you are normally doing. Whether that's like, I should be recording myself right now, but I didn't. But
We
like,
should be, right?
when you're doing a podcast with somebody, record yourself. If you're cleaning up your kitchen, record yourself. If you're like, I recorded myself picking up the boys' toys, putting the coats away, washing my face, like anything that I could take B-roll doing, I do it and I save it in my library. And I kind of look at making reels as like steps. So like that way I'm not overwhelmed with doing everything at once, you know, recording the video, creating the video, making the caption, making sure my keywords are in there, all that stuff. I kind of do that in steps. So I'll
Yeah.
take B-roll and then at some point I'll put that together into a video form when I find an audio that I like. And then if I have time right then and there, I'll write the caption, I'll put my text on my video. If I don't, then I save it as a draft. I come back to it maybe a few hours later the next morning and I finish it up and then I either schedule it or I post it right then and there. So I found that like
Oh my God.
creating in steps helps me a lot with easing the stress of, oh my gosh, this takes so much time, because it does.
That makes so much sense. Just building that library of short little clips, video
Yeah.
clips of what you're doing anyhow. Like that's a huge game changer. But
Yeah.
now you're ready to create this reel, right?
Hmm.
And you said you were looking for different audios. So
Yeah.
do you look for what's trending or do you just create your own? What do you do?
Both. Well, I don't create my own. I have in the past, but that also adds on more time. So I would love to do
Be
that.
honest, be honest.
No, I would love that is a goal one day, but right now I don't have that kind of time. So I use trending audios or so if you, I'm learning this as well, but a few things that I'm learning is if you have like a business creator account, this is a little trick of the
Yeah.
trade that I just learned, which many people might know. You could go to your professional dashboard. So if you're on your profile, you have that little button that says professional dashboard. It shows you
Hmm.
all your insights. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a little line that says trending audio. And Instagram gives you trending audio as a business, as a creator account that you could use. So you don't have to go searching for it.
Oh,
Now,
that's awesome.
sometimes they're really great. Sometimes they don't fit you. You don't use them. You just have to sift through them. But another
Right.
thing that I found was also following people that I'm kind of in the same niche as and going through their reels and seeing which one of their reels have gone viral and using that audio and almost like the same messaging that they have to help my reels kind of get the same engagement. Um, and then another thing that I found with the audio is you want to find the ones that have been used like 7,000 times or less. And when you click on those trending audios, it'll pull up like all the reels that have been made with that audio. And so you could see on the reels, like if they went viral or not, if they hit 1 million views. So a tip that I learned, somebody told me, was that you want to use reels that have like 7,000 or less views and that have 2 to 3 viral hits and then use
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, so I've been trying. It's kind of hard though. Like it's hard to find that, but you can find it. They are out
Right.
there. And so I've been trying to focus on that, but also I do want to get content out there. So I don't do that every day. I probably do it like 2 times a week that I actually find a real like audio like that. But yeah, that's a tip that I try to use for my audios.
I love that tip. I mean, yeah, even if you
Yeah.
put aside like an hour or whatever a week and just kind of look, research, label it, then you know when you go back and you're
Yes.
creating them. I love that. Like
Yeah.
that's like another huge time saver is just kind of like when you've got downtime, prepare,
Yep.
save it up, and then build it all together. So now we're going to
Yeah.
build this, right? You've got
Yeah.
your audio and you've got your video that you created, and now you're actually putting the reel together. Do you typically always put text over your reel?
Yes, because I always
Okay.
I know I get pulled in by what reels normally, by what they say. Occasionally I'll get pulled in by the vision of the video of the reel with no text.
Right.
But normally, like if I'm looking for something, I get pulled in by the text that I see on the reel. And
Ah,
I know many other people do too. So I try to create a hook right then and there on my reel or something that will just hit an emotional point in somebody where they will want to keep watching to find out more. So yeah, I almost always I think I always put text over reels.
And is there any key, like where to put it or how to
Yeah,
put it?
so this is another thing that I recently learned, which was interesting because before I was kind of creating my reels and putting my text wherever on the screen. But once you're about to post your reel on Instagram, there's a little tab at the top. It says profile. It's either profile view or profile grid. And if you click on that, it'll show you what your reel looks like on your profile. When you click on that, you want to make sure that your text is within view of whoever's coming to your profile. You want to make sure that it's not too high, it's not too low, it's not over to the left, to the right, too small. When people go to your profile, you want them to be able to see that little snippet and see the text that's on your reel. And that way it can maybe pull them in and they'll click on it if they resonate with what it says.
That's so important to do because the worst thing I cannot stand it is if I'm scrolling and something gets my attention and their words are actually at the very bottom where when you're watching it,
Yes.
the words from the post is over the words on the video, and then you
Yeah.
can't read what they wrote on the video. It's like, why'd you put it there?
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
so that's such a good tip to make sure that it's in the center and that tool's available for you to look at it and view it. Now,
Yeah.
you do something, you take your reels a step further, which I personally love. But you use email also to just keep that momentum going with your reel. How do you
Yeah.
do that?
Listen, Andy, you've inspired me in this area because I didn't always do this. And I just recently started implementing this in the last month, I would say, honestly, or 2 months. It probably going on 2 months, but I have already seen sales from it on my photography business side with my digital products. So I know that it works. But I basically, I have a call to action to my free product. When people download my free product, of course, that gets them on my email list. And then from there, if they didn't purchase my paid product, because in my free product, I always have a link to my paid product as well in case they're going through and they want more, they could automatically get it. But if they don't automatically get it, I have an email sequence that sends out. And right now, I think I'm only at like 3 emails for one of my products, 2 email follow-ups for another product, but I'm getting there. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll send email follow-ups. After that, I'll kind of throw in like asking how they liked it, giving more tips, talking about my paid product. So
I love hearing that because I'm a huge advocate for
yeah,
email. Like,
yeah,
email is so important. And right now we kind of hear what's going on with TikTok, and in January they're going to find out if they're going to be banned or not banned. And I mean, this is so perfect to make sure
yeah,
that you've got your email list, because just say TikTok does get banned or Facebook or Instagram goes down or whatever, how are you going to reach that audience?
yeah,
So it's like, do the work now and build that email. So I love hearing that not only that you are using email on there, but that you've seen a return.
yeah.
You recognize that, oh my gosh, yes, this is this is so cool.
Yep. Yeah. And I totally attribute that to the real, like for my photography account at least, I totally attribute that to my reels reaching the right people for them to download my free product. And
Mhm.
that's exactly how I built my email list for my photography account. It's really like no other way other than my reels on Instagram.
Yeah, I love it though, but that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Because I love that. And it's so important that you're doing to do that. So that's super cool. And those reels are getting it. Now, you have a guide also,
Yeah.
right? About reels that it's free. So you're going into even more
Yeah.
tips than what we talked about today. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's called the Ultimate Reels Guide, and I sell it on my business page where I promote like my digital marketing, digital products, how to make money online. I sell a course on there called Digital Wealth Academy, but my free product on that page is the Ultimate Reels Guide, which actually some like content creators will sell a product really similar to this, but I was giving this away for free to kind of bring people in to just show them like how good the content, like my paid content is, but also I totally believe in reels. Like I'm a very, very big advocate for using reels to reach people for whatever you want to draw them in for. And so I
Mhm.
just am giving this away. It's one of my free products, but it's called the Ultimate Reels Guide, and it just goes into more detail of what you need to do to create those reels that will then convert into engagement on your page, people signing up to your email list, and even convert into sales.
Yeah, I need to get that.
Yeah,
Any way
yeah,
to simplify, I'll be signing up. So,
yeah.
one question before I let you go. But if somebody is listening right now and they're like, okay, I haven't really done reels. I'm listening to Kenna and I should probably do it. Like, what's one thing they should focus on to make it effective?
This is like, you hear this once you get into like the digital, like the social media reel making world, you hear this a lot, but a lot of creators say put your blinders on. And this has helped me a lot because, like I said in the beginning, like it's intimidating to put yourself out there, to post a video of your face on your reels. And so I would just say to put your blinders on, keep your goal as your like end point, your vision point, and why you're doing it in the first
Mm.
place, and just like run towards that. Don't worry about like what your mom is going to think, because your mom doesn't understand the day that, you know, she might not understand the digital age that we live in and how impactful creating a reel could be. Your grandma, whoever it is,
Yeah.
your dad who thinks social media is like the worst, like I'm just saying, I'm just like giving
You're not speaking
examples.
from
That's
personal, right?
well, really like your family or like your loved
No,
ones
I
or
understand.
friends, they influence you a lot, and they could almost scare you out of like advancing to a place where you could just like thrive in. And that kind
Yes.
of held me back a while, but like I would just say put your blinders on and start recording yourself in anything that you're doing that's you know, worthy to put on the internet, that you'd be fine putting on the internet. Make a
Yeah.
decision if you want to show your kids faces or not, and stuff like that. And then just start creating little by little. Like I said, take it step by step. Take the videos, save them in an album on your phone so you have all your content right there. Then when you have time, maybe find a trending audio and put your video to that audio. See if you like it. If you like it, put some text over the screen. Make your caption, either that, save it as a draft. If you can make your caption right then and there, do it. If not, make it the next morning. And like, don't put pressure on yourself. Just put one reel out there to start and see how it does. And I shouldn't even say that, because even if it doesn't do good, like you need to give it a little bit of time. I heard
Right.
somebody say one time, like if you're starting a new account, give yourself till you get to 100 posts to then decide like if you need to make drastic changes, or I don't want to say the word quit, but like either quit or
Yeah.
pivot your marketing strategies or something like that. 100 posts is a lot. So,
Yes.
but don't put pressure on it. Like my post that I had 200,000 views on was probably only like the 10 or less, like within the 10th post of me actually promoting my digital products with my reels. So you never know when something's going to take off, but you're never going to advance if you don't start practicing.
Yeah, that's such good advice. All those different pieces of advice are just so good. And I can absolutely relate to put the blinders on because
Yeah.
Jason is anti social media.
Yeah.
And I am like, well, that's what's kind of bringing extra money.
Yeah. Yeah, which I
Right?
get. Which I
So I'm like,
get.
I do get it. I do get
Even
it.
as creators, it could suck us in and we could play the comparison game, and it could, you know,
Yes.
alter our mood. And so you really have to make sure you're level headed every day when you're posting, making sure you're
Right.
confident in what you post, confident in what you're selling. That way, if somebody that you love comes up to you and is questioning you about it, you could talk about it with passion.
Right.
So, and also like be yourself, because people could kind of see when you're being phony, you know? So, which is also hard to do. It's easy to post a video that isn't really like you just to get that content out there. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of intentionality to be yourself and make sure you're posting videos that are like you.
Right. Yeah. And it sounds so simple and so common sense, but it's so
Yeah.
not. So I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
glad you
hard.
shared that because it's really hard when you're on social media to not be influenced by everything else that you're seeing. So I am super grateful that you just said that because I know
Yeah.
somebody's feeling that, but is like, I didn't realize that's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
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 So
Yep.
finally, where can our listeners follow you to learn more about Kenna Marie?
Yeah. So if you're a photographer, you could follow me on Kenna Marie Photography on Instagram. And there's two Y's at the end because the other username was taken. So it's Kenna Marie Photography with two Y's. And then if you want to get my ultimate Reels guide, which I highly recommend, it's on my other account, which is at Hello Kenna Marie. So pretty simple. And then you could just go to that link in my bio, download the Reels guide. And I tell people all the time that I'm always available in the DMs for further support or guidance because we're all on this journey together. So I'm happy to share what I've learned, and it's great to just have a community where you could bounce ideas off of.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is. It absolutely is. And I know I'm always sending you stuff,
Yeah.
text and email going, review this, look at
Yeah,
this, what do you
same.
think? And
Yeah.
it's so important to have that. Well, Kenna, thank you so much for coming on. I
Yeah.
love obviously talking to you.
Yes.
But I just see everything you're doing and it's amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on. It's always fun being here and talking even more than we do.
Oh, and at the very end, we get a little
We
surprise.
get a visitor. I'm like,
We get a
get
visitor.
out.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.